definition of a good guitar in your opinion?
Like straight to the big questions, right? No around.
Well, we can do that. We can do that when we're done with the questions. But yeah.
No,
we can do that in between.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool question because it's one of those questions when you're younger, or actually even when you're older now, sometimes you wonder, okay, if I could have my dream guitar, and then you start lining out like specs and writing down stuff when you write the sheet of paper, and then you go through all of these questions in your head. And for me, I would say basically what I like a guitar to be is like, it's also with the amp. I like things to be very lively.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get like a really great response from an instrument. So if you put something in there, like if you pick a string, if you hit it, if you pluck it, so you want to get like a response, kind of, and I think for that I need a guitar I like a bright sound. I like bite, still having some body to the sound, so some weight, but in general, I would say I like those. Those are crucial factors for me. Those are crucial elements. So naturally, I tend to. It's how I also like. I grew up playing guitars. Is like more bright sounding guitars, and like a lot of super strats, a lot of I think last time we talked about that one, like my old N4 guitar is a good example of that. So you get a good amount of bite, and still it has a weight, it has a body to the sound, but it's and it's kind of like an agile sound, I would say. It can be very percussive, you feel that even if you don't pluck the guitar, you hear like it's really it's not too dark, it's that's a thing. Even with like the Les Paul that I have, which I really love. I'm so happy that I bought a Les Paul last year because I started out, like, my first electric guitar was a Les Paul, and then I fell into the whole into a super strat hole, down the rabbit hole of super strats, and that was it for me. But later on, I was always Les Paul is like, it's your old man's guitar. But then again, I rediscovered it. But still, like, my Les Paul has P90s on it, and it's for a Les Paul, it's really like, it's bitey, it's bright sounding. It's probably the thing I'm looking for, and I really like the guitar to be dynamic. Again, it's like the same with amps, I love like to have if you have your volume like on 10, I love to have the really cool chunky rock, like a classic rock tone, your Friedman rock tone, or whatever you want to call it these days. But then if you roll it back off, I like to get that sparkly clean sound, which is not really like a clean sound, like a clean let's say a Fendery or a Mezzabuki clean channel clean sound. It's more like it's still like the same sound, but you roll off the volume and you get that really sparkly, dynamic, clean sound where you hit the strings hard and you almost get a crunch. But then if you play like really light, then you get that really cool maybe Brian May-ish, Eddie Van Halen-ish clean sound, where you hear that it's basically like just waiting to get crunchy again, because you hear like it's like the maybe an example for that is the intro for Drop Dead Legs. It's a song from the 1984 album, from like the Halen album, and there's like this intro he plays, and then it's like some like that kind of stuff, and then you can hear him like bringing
rolling the volume.
You know, it's like what's going to happen next. You know, it's that kind of really energetic sound happening, and it's really what I'm all about, I guess.
Nice. Okay, well then, does that then mean it has to do not just with the guitar itself, but also the pickups, etc.? I mean, because obviously all those, I think that regardless of what type of wood is used, the pickups actually play a very crucial role in, giving you that sort of sound, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're so right. I mean, we're talking about guitars, and there's so many elements to a guitar, or there's so many elements to your sound, right? I mean, the guitar is, of course, it's super personal, but then again, sometimes I think an amp or even a cab can be just as personal, because it's just all the elements combined that make your sound. I mean, apart from the biggest part, which is here, of course. But yeah, you're right. The pickups, they're like super crucial. Right. I mean, you just did can I say that, or is it out? Like the thing you did with Mark about his signature pickups?
Yeah.
Right.
Why can't you say you can say anything you want?
Okay. You said it. No.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah, that's a really cool thing, and of course pickups are essential. That's one thing that I really find interesting about the Music line stuff, and the JP line and the Majesty line, is that for every guitar he brings out, he has pickups that go with the guitar, because it's not only the model. I mean, with the Majesty, of course, it was a whole new design. It was the shape and the whole ergonomics and everything.
Yeah.
But also he had new pickups, and for like in this JP, I think there's different pickups than in yours, probably, because they evolved as well. And pickups, I mean, another endless, search and another endless endless possibilities to try out, which is super cool.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm going back and forth between really liking high output pickups, and then again going back to more like P90s and mini humbuckers and all that stuff. And that's another because on my the N4s is known for having this super high output Bill Lawrence on the bridge.
Oh yeah, the Bill. Oh, I forgot about Bill Lawrence.
Oh
man.
So it's the classic looking
the rails
thing, And normally, if you would go like, hey, you can design your dream humbucker or whatever, your custom humbucker, then I wouldn't go for a super high output. Probably would go for a more medium output. So I have a lot of headroom coming from the guitar. Still, I have the open sound, but still, like that guitar, it does everything I want a guitar to do. But probably I just played with this guitar so much, and it grew with me as a player. I mean, I got it, and my dad bought me this guitar, actually. Thanks, Dad. Maybe 15 years ago or something. So it's lacking a string. I have to change the strings on this one. And this is really high output, so I like that one. But normally, I think a medium to high thing would be my thing, because you still get the classic rock sound, and oversaturating, like going into the amp, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So do you know what pickups are on your JP?
Yeah, I've got the Crunch. I think it's the same as your other JP as well. It's the Crunch Lab and Liquefier.
Right.
And I think you've got like the Illuminators there, if I'm not wrong, on the JP15. I don't think it's the Crunch Lab though, because you see the Crunch Lab has that rail thing.
Yeah, it's that one.
Right? Yeah, so that's So, but mine's like in black, yours is in silver, but it's the same thing. So Yeah, but what I find with this one is that there's a lot of weight on the pickup, and I generally try to. I think I want something brighter, so I actually have like the DiMarzio Titans that I'm actually contemplating if I should put them in here or not. But I don't know, like making changes to this guitar, like I feel like I'm disrespecting the guitar.
Yeah.
So like it's like, you know, yeah, like I'm not sure if I told you, but like because like, you know, I use Duncan's and then like, you know, and then like these just sound so good, and then they're like DiMarzios, and
Right.
like, yeah.
I totally like. I really feel it because that's what happened to me. I always thought like, yeah, if you Duncan's are a thing, you know, you have the JB and you have your classic pickups, and then I realized like a lot of my favorite players, a lot of my idols, they actually are DiMarzio guys. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I couldn't say like, you know, for strings, I was always like the Ernie Ball guy. I love Ernie Ball stuff, and I always did. But for pickups, you know, it's a classic thing like DiMarzio or Seymour Duncan's, and they're both like they have so many great models, and but I really get that what you're saying, like with you know, taking out a pickup and swapping it for a different pickup that you might like better.
Mm-hmm.
But then still, like this guitar, it's, you know, especially with the Petrucci stuff, like it's designed to be that way.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It's a disrespecting thing.
Yeah, you know, like, and it's I'm having a really hard time here, and then like I tried to justify my decision. I was like, yeah, Jake is technically Petrucci's nephew, so I was like, yeah, so it's fine to put in his nephew.
That's a point. That's a valid point.
So I'm not disrespecting the guitar in any way. I'm just passing it on to his nephew. You know?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can always go back, right? You can.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just try, and I mean, the Titans. I really like the whole, like the model he has, like the, you know, the Ibanez.
JBM.
Right. It's almost the same letters anyway.
Sorry?
It's almost the same letters anyway, like JP, JB, it's, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same. They're the same family.
Maybe it would look really cool because then you'd get like the JP body with that really cool looking Titan pickup, right? Gold.
Yeah. I don't know. But the version I got for the 7-string was the open pole ones, like it's just there actually. So it's not the gold color one. But I don't know. I'm still having a hard time deciding if I want to change or not because these sound great. It's just that I find it a bit too heavy. Like there's too much body and not as bright as I want it to be for my playing. Especially, I think the Titans respond a bit better when it comes to like the percussive sort of riffs, and this one, you know, it's very fat, it's very thick, and you can understand why, because there's only one guitarist in Dream Theater, so it needs to be fat and thick and stuff. So I don't know, I'm having a hard time.
I get it. I mean, I do like the Crunch Lab, but you're right. I mean, after all, like Petrucci's sound is, of course, more, let's call it vintage compared to Periphery stuff, because it has to be, because Periphery stuff is it's modern and it's really gentle. And I think that's more your thing, right? You do a lot of more like
percussive kind of. I try to, or at least I attempt to. What I'm trying to do now is to write differently. Sorry?
You're doing it. It's great. Like, you're not trying.
Oh, thank you. I still like to think I'm trying, but yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. We're all trying.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. I don't know. So pickups definitely. But I'm keen on trying the Seymour Duncans though. That I actually got Mark Holcomb's Alpha Omega. So that's going into like people are gonna slaughter me for this. Like I've got a PRS that is 1957 2008. So that PRS was made. I think the pickups were made with the machine that made the original PAF Gibson pickups.
Wow.
So those are very vintage sounding, but a bit too vintage for my liking. And they don't for clean tones, absolutely great. But for how I write, I think it's a bit too old school. But they are super beautiful sounding pickups if you want to go for clean tones and things like that. But yeah, but now that I'm with Duncan, I decided to swap that one to the 6 versions, and then my 8 string I will also have Mark's pickups on it, so I can't wait to test it out on the 8 string actually. So quite excited about swapping the pickups.
Yeah, I think especially for the like 8 string stuff, those pickups probably they do a great job because they're super clear, right? And they have a lot of
high end
and controlled low end, right? So that's what you want. Yeah.
So with the 8s it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And also I think if you're into that whole thing, like he does just so awesomely, like all those complex chords he plays with gain.
Yeah, like the 8-finger chords.
I mean, we talked about this before, but I'm really influenced by all the older players, and that's probably what shaped me. But there's a few guys that really I thought were highly like inspirational coming from the later like recent years, and Mark definitely was like the guy that's one of the guys that stood out for me because he has such a unique style, like how fluid he plays all those chords and riffs, and it's really cool. And recently I saw I mean, I think it's been up on YouTube for some time, but it's some kind of tutorial to how to play. It's not one. It's one of the more simple songs. They have really cool chord stuff, and then he does like one of those chord switches with like a thumb here,
thumb on top. Yeah.
And I tried it, and I couldn't like even. I was like, okay.
I tried. I couldn't. Like he says, it's easy, but then like it's just a struggle for the thumb to like.
Right? So it's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, like he is very unique. Like I mean, you start to think like how he's able to transition, between chords that quickly. It's kind of. I mean, those chords are like tough as they are already. I mean. Yeah, and then like to transition from one chord to another that quickly, I just find it crazy. But musically it makes a lot of sense because instead of like a typical root and fifth sort of power chord, he really makes sure that every chord sounds interesting, and I find it kind of nice. And he's actually the reason why I decided to go back to 6 strings as well. I mean, I'm kind of used to playing the 7, but then actually the 6 strings allows you to like fret chords a bit easier, I think, because of the neck width,
True. Still thinking about that, like every time I play a 7, but I haven't found I haven't found a way to get out of this. I mean, simply because of the reason that for Eluveitie and Illumishade, I need the whole range. I do need the low B or A, and then some solos they just go up here, and what can you do?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, alternatively, I think one of the things that they do in Periphery is like tune, like the 6 string down really low. Like I mean, on one of the songs they actually go down to G on the 6 string. So that could be a solution. Yeah, but I do get what you mean, because I was thinking, why don't I just go back to 6, and then I'm thinking exactly what you said. Like we need the high range, but we also need the low range.
Yeah, and if you go low with the 6 string, like I always had trouble with finding a really cool set of strings to, you know, especially like the G string. Of course, you don't want it like wound, right? Like so. And then if you don't have that, then it's a lot of times it sounds really dead. And then if a player like me that wants to have a fairly light set of strings to have a really, you know, a bendy feel still to the guitar, it's really it's a hassle. So and now I mean I have a really cool 7 string. So why why bother?
Why bother? Exactly. Yeah. I guess that's very true. Yeah, but I guess the only way around it is to write different songs on different guitars that have different amount of strings. I think one thing I really learned from them was that, you know, why are people writing the same type of songs on just different amount of strings? You know, I mean, if you look at the 6, 7, and 8 strings as different instruments, then you start to, like, you know, write differently.
True.
And so yeah, I think that kind of makes sense, because then that kind of justifies why you need, you know, that variation there. So you don't expect your 7 to do what the 6 can, and you don't expect your 6 to do what the 7 does, you know, and, you know, vice versa with the 8. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So that really helped, you know. So now I kind of have this rule where I don't play the riffs that I play on the 7 on the 6. So but like but one of the riffs that I can't resist playing is the Ategnatos riff. It's like, regardless of whether I play on an 8, 6, or 7, I'm like tempted to play that riff.
How do you? I'm
like like, so in fact I just figured it out like a few days. I was like, no way Jonas can play that fast, because it's like drun, 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 drun. And then I was like, no, you're a very technical player, but you would play it in a way that makes sense. So I decided that I think you play like, do you go upstroke? Do you do that?
Whenever I'm actually an upstroke guy, whenever I can, because you get that spanky sound.
Yeah.
You know, Misha does a lot. Like that's how you try to, you know, rip the string a bit.
Yeah.
So really, it's a good question, and you're okay. No pressure now. Okay. It is.
Yeah, and that was key, because like I learned the song in downstroke, like, you know, triplets, downstroke, triplets, downstroke. It's like, no way someone can play that fast, you know. It's like,
no, not especially not me, you know. I'm if you can make life easy, you should do it, right? Because come on, it's I tried to have a lot of upstrokes in my playing. I just like, I like the sound.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. And then like, because I figured you're a very technical player, in a sense that because you're a shredder, so you would probably find the way that's most economical to do it. So then I decided to change it to upstroke. I was like, oh yes, finally. Like, you have no idea, like I gave up learning that song like last year because it was just too fast. I mean, I could play the song at like maybe, you know, 75%, 80% speed, but like, because I was doing it all in downstroke, I was never able to reach 100%. So until like, you know, a couple of days ago, I was like trying. I was like, no way, I have to do this. And then I was like, oh, what if I change it to upstroke, you know? And then then it made a lot more sense.
Right. Oh yeah. Why didn't you just call me?
I should have, right?
Now you know, like, you know, I think that riff is a really good example of that whole you know, school of melodic death metal riffs, but that I really had to, when I joined Eluveitie, I guess I kind of had to get it under my fingers, or actually be more precise, like right hand stuff, because a lot of it is like you have a low string that does like a pedal thing, right? Where you do all the all that stuff, and then you have your melody notes that go from. They can range from your if we're in 7-string mode now, they can be on your E string or even your A string.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool. You play it here, right?
Yeah. Do you play it on the A?
I play it here because I'm used to string skip because it's kind of like a Paul Gilbert and Bruno thing. So
yeah. But it actually sounds nicer here because it's brighter. Because obviously because the strings are thinner, so. Oh yeah, actually, it works as well. Yeah.
And I'm a rather technical player, but then again, I'm still not really ergonomic in a lot of things. So I like to go for big movements, more like because of sound reasons and of energy reasons, So it's a pretty big.
Oh, that's big.
If I can, as big as I can, because I just feel like that. So if I can, and really, even make it go dime tuning a bit, if you, yeah, and then the rest I do.
Oh, okay. Now it makes a lot of sense because I was actually having trouble with muting the strings on the second part, which is the.
Oh yeah, you're.
So wow, I was like, it's quite a struggle to mute the strings when I play that part. So if you're playing it on the A string, then do you play that on the A string?
I don't have an A string, I think.
No. Yeah, the E. Sorry, the E string. The E.
I'm sorry.
E and A.
It was I thought you meant an 8th string,
Oh no. The E and A.
Yeah.
So you play the whole riff on the E string.
Yeah.
On the 6th and 5th string, right?
Yeah, the second part is all on those strings, right? Yeah, it's
now it makes a lot of sense. Now I can play it clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, the way you do it is it's perfectly fine. I think it's just a matter of sound, right? Because it's darker here. It sounds more almost a bit more stonerish. It's more of a darker guitar sound in here, right?
It's a spankier sound.
Spankier sound, right?
Okay, now I need to change that part. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's for me the toughest riff in the song. And then after that, it's just a matter of figuring out what sort of notes you play, especially in the part where the flute comes in. So because I know that in between chords there are a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah. Wait, it's been some time since I played it. I mean, yeah, it's like that, and then it's holy crap! I think after. And then I do the harmony thing, where
the thirds on top, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then you have that part. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that the part that leads. Yeah. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And after that you go to the.
Yeah.
Right.
That's hard. But yeah, I never figured out how to play that. So you know more about the song than I do.
Oh, no, cool. I try to go for the parts that I can hear clearly in the song. Obviously, why would I go for the parts where I'm struggling to hear?
True. Yeah. There's always a lot going on in the mix because it's a lot of instruments. So you sometimes guitar is a bit in the background, right? So yeah. But it's cool. I mean, I think that riff stands really well as an example for that whole kind of up-tempo melodic death metal playing. So maybe I was thinking to do like just a tutorial just for that riff, because you can take it and go like, hey, and this is the whole, like that whole way of, you know, riff playing where it's really an outside kind of picking thing where you have the, you know, it's always that kind of thing.
The down and up, down and up, down and up.
Right.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, do it like do it and then I'll cover the song. Finally.
No, because your videos, they look really cool, and like then I'm like, okay.
No. Like I mean, I look at the stuff that some of my friends do. Mine is just embarrassing, you know.
No,
so,
I mean the production value is really like super high. Like they look so cool.
Oh really? I just click random stuff.
Really?
No, I'm joking. Like I mean, but no, like I mean, I don't think mine is the best. I mean, it's just enough to get by. But I try to have one focus though, because the purpose of all these covers is that, you know, obviously it helps a lot of people learn those songs as well. So one of the things I try to do in the videos is focus on, I mean, the angles are often focused in a sense that it allows someone to learn the song, like if they watch the video. Yeah, so rather than, you know, it just being a vanity project where, you know, I just cover a song and people just enjoy, the whole purpose is kind of like the interview series that that we are doing now. It's, you know, the whole purpose is for people to kind of learn, you know, what they enjoy, you know. So from the covers, people get to learn the songs, whether it's accurate or not. That's, you know, I hold no responsibility, you know. But yeah. So so anyway, like I'm not surprised that we kind of derailed from, like, you know, the topic.
No.
Like so damn far away, but yeah. So okay, so like jumping back to, like, you know, Music Man, like, you know, in your opinion, what gives, you know, these guitars, like, you know, the extra edge over other brands? I mean, the fact that you made a custom with them says a lot about, you know, how you feel about the brand itself.
True. Yeah. For me, I think I have a pretty, you know, a long fanboy history with the brand, because you know, at some point I realized that, like, when I was in my, I don't know, teens, getting old, crap. Anyways, that a lot of my like my heroes, they played like that one guitar brand, and the one guy that for me, of course, was probably my biggest influence was
Van Halen.
Yeah, Eddie, and you know, funnily enough, like you know, when you're really young, there's not only the sound, it's also like the, you know, the visuals you take in, and that influence you, right? So if you, I don't know, if you see Slash as a 10-year-old, you know, kid, you see him and you hear him, and it's a combination of things that makes you go like, wow, that's the coolest ever. And with Eddie, it was at the time that when he probably impacted me the most, it was actually the period, the 90s Eddie, you know. It was, and then later I really like really got into the classic Van Halen era, like the Roth era and the striped, let's call it the striped era, you know. And I remember my dad bought me like that one live album, Right Here Right Now, which was a Sammy era album, and there was like pictures, and later on I even got the DVD, but there he you know, it's more like that 90s look where he has like just a more like a normal shirt, and it's almost a bit grungy, like, to look at him, but there he had the Music Man, you know, and it has, of course, it has the distinct headstock, which you know, you love, or you probably really
you'll hate,
like,
or love.
ever. I always I loved the look of that 4 and 2, thing where they have. I think it's, and you can see a bit where it comes from. I mean, after all, it's a Leo Fender thing, and you can still see some traces of a Strat, but it's different, really different. It has maybe it's an influence from a I don't know, a Les Paul thought that you have tuners on the other side, whatever it is. It's just really interesting, and I always really loved the headstock.
Yeah.
And that they always had a, and then I realized, okay, Lukather is playing one, and Steve Morris is, Albert Lee, and all those great players that have a, they're all players with a lot of depth. They have their really unique sound. They a lot of them were session players at some point in their life, and they were or even super famous for their ability to or for the session work they did. Like Albert Lee with Eric Clapton, and I mean, we don't have to talk about Luke. I mean, he so many albums he recorded in the whole LA scene, and Michael Jackson, and of course Toto, and I think that's probably the other big thing, besides Eddie, that spoke to me, because after all, I'm my profile as a musician is really a session guy. Even now that I'm playing Eluveitie, which is a really, it's a big band in terms of it's really time consuming, and it's a priority, and but still I really enjoy getting to play all the different styles of music, and being the session guy still, or having a really wide range of styles to dive into. And I think Music Man it's a perfect tool for that. It always stood for a variety. I mean, if you look at the artist lineup, or even the guitars now, if you go online and you check the catalog or whatever, they have, I mean, Albert Lee, they have the old guys are still there. They have Steve Morris is still there, and Albert Lee and those guys, and then they have a lot of modern progressive stuff. They do Jason Richardson stuff, and then they have pop musicians like James Valentine, and really visionary designs like Saint Vincent has. That's another thing that I think is so awesome, that they go places with designs. They are really and it's really tailored to the artist, right?
That's very true.
And on top of that, I just love the fact that it's this family thing, and it's that shop in
California.
It's in Southern California. It's San Francisco, right? It's because on this one it doesn't say here, but normally they have it here, right? That's the classic thing. It says. Have it on my JP7. And always, it's so many cool things to cover on the Music Man, made in San Luis Obispo, California, USA. You see that, and it's you look at Music Man guitars, and it's such a high quality instrument, and it rings. If you don't even have to plug it in, my phone, my speaker of my phone is almost bursting because it's.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
If you need a new phone, then ask someone else.
So I think and they have this it's just a magical thing they have for me, and I think Music Man is definitely a brand that it's not your everyday brand still. I mean, even it's a big brand, they have a huge a line of artists or whatever, but still it's not your
commercials.
It's not a guitar that everyone goes sure, I like it. It's more wow, it's super awesome, or it's not my thing, it's it's
It
kind of
has its own niche sort
yeah,
of thing.
it does, and I really love that about stuff. Like because it's like you're basically it makes you it's really an original thing,
Yeah.
a Music Man guitar. I mean also with the Majesty, you know, it took me some time, but then finally
You got one?
I got one, and it's just like that guitar. I mean, I was wondering, okay, John Petrucci has a JP line. Why bother making a whole new signature guitar? And then when I got it, I realized, okay, it's a masterpiece in design and guitar engineering. Like that guitar, I think, could really stand the test of time in becoming like a modern classic guitar in rock guitar design, because it's so like it's so effortless to play, and it's so everything is like it's what he always like says in the videos, but it's really true. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
But again, it's really not a guitar for everyone, because it makes you play it a certain way. It's not a guitar you can go like and slaughter it. It's not for a brutal kind of, it's not made for a brutal kind of guitar playing. It's really a delicate thing, actually, and really ergonomic and just fascinating instruments. And so yeah, Music Man was always like a you know, a thing that was, you know, you're in this small country, and it was always like the thing to, wow, if you have a Music Man, or if I ever could get a, you know, whatever, a custom or whatever, that kind of thing. And then like I was really lucky to meet that tour manager we had in the US. So he's such a great guy, and yeah, he just like put me in contact with the Ernie Ball Music Man guys, and that's another thing like that I thought like, wow, this is it basically makes sense, but it's still really cool that those guys are super easy and super cool. They're, you know, it's like, yeah, man, we can do that, yeah, but like everything is really nice and really cool. So yeah. But then again, if you think about it, it's like that family thing, and it really makes sense that they're cool, you know, that they're cool guys. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think apart from, you know, like you said, obviously a lot of those people who were with Music Man since many years ago. I mean, Petrucci is just one example. I mean, he's been with the brand for like what, 20 years already, I think. I think it has to do not just with, you know, I think what appeals to us is not just, you know, how it looks. You know, obviously sometimes, you know, when your idols use those guitars, you're like, oh, I have to have those because my idols have it, you know. It's just like having like an Alexi Laiho guitar or something. It's just because, you know, he has it. But when it comes to Music Man, I think they're really special because, in my opinion, I mean, I'm not biased in any way by saying this, but I think they are probably the best guitars out there. 10 years ago when I tried, in fact, it was more than 10 years ago when I tried my friend's JPX. And then back then I was like, this is the best guitar I've ever played, you know? And like, and then when I got this JP7, I was like, yes, this is still the best guitar I've ever played. And you know, remember I was telling you a few days ago that, you know, I'm also contemplating, you know, a BFR JP7. I'm actually a bit concerned. I know, it's like, man, it's so expensive, but at the same time, I'm also concerned, you know, what if it doesn't feel as good as this one? You know, because everything apart from, you know, the heavy sounding pickup, which I'm still contemplating, everything else about this guitar feels right. You know, there's like no buts. It's like, you know, and like also with the Tremmory, like you can't see it now, but it's like,
I still have to check that out.
It's so good. Like, you should definitely check it out. I mean, imagine like bending one string and then the other string still stay in tune. Like, and you want to drop tuning, so I can pretty much play Eluveitie songs and Infected Rain songs here, you know. So because Vidic, they play in drop A, so I can tune this guitar up and down. And the fact that, you know, this doesn't have a locking nut makes it so convenient. You know, obviously the Tremmory works for Floyd Rose as well, but to have that nut there is just a bit annoying. I mean, you take it off, it looks ugly. You put it there, but you don't tighten it. It buzzes when you when you strum the string. So like this is like the perfect sort of thing to have. Like, you know, no nuts, just locking tuners, and, you know, a very good floating trem. But yeah, the Tremmory thing is really so good. Like, because imagine you can still do everything you want on the whammy bar, but at the same time you don't have those tuning issues. You snap a string, the guitar still stays in tune. So it's so good, that thing.
I really have to get that. Yeah, I have to check that.
Yeah.
You mentioned it and then I forgot, but then again, like Ola did a video, I think.
Yeah. It was because of him. I didn't know such a thing existed until I saw that video, and then he was like, "Yeah, is this a gimmick or not?" You know, and then he tested it out, and he was like, "Wow, it really works." You know, so it's it's different from having like a tremolo where, you know, a tremolo kind of stops you from going up. You know, but this one allows you to have the full function, and it takes away all the problems. So it's like, why not? You know, and it really works. And it's easy to install. It took like 15 minutes for me. Well, it was a bit tight, that's why it took that long, but it was quite easy to install. All I needed was like a screwdriver and like a, you know, a plier. So yeah, it's like, wow. Yeah, all the strings still stay in tune. Like it's crazy. It's this thing is just crazy. It's like having an Evertune on a trem. Yeah.
I couldn't find my way to work around or with Evertunes, because it just doesn't do the trick for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you're walking down the street and you have like some weight you have to.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. It's kind of weird thing, but yeah, that Tremmory thing sounds really cool.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. I mean, it's not cheap though. I mean, it's like 100 euros for it or something like that.
That's
so
fine.
But if it solves your problems, then why not, you know? So it's a really good thing to have. Yeah, so like, since we're talking about like trems and stuff, like, do you mind this sharing, like, you know, what sort of mods you made on your custom JP? Apart from the finish, did you change anything else, or is it like a full JP15 with just a custom color?
Yeah, no mods on this one. It's the thing is with the signature models, they can, like, it's like, for example, with the Majesty, they couldn't, like, it's already a signature instrument, so you cannot change too much.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, but with this one, because it's not a neck through, I asked them if they could put one of their, you know, the super amazing baked maple neck on a JP, and they were like, yeah, sure. I think the JP15 anyways comes with kind of maple neck.
That's why the crest up there says JP15.
Yeah. Right. I mean, maple fretboard, right? That's the JP15 already has.
Yeah.
And this one, it's just a baked maple now. This is custom, and I mean the color, the finish I saw that's a St. Vincent, you know, that charcoal.
Yeah.
And
it's so beautiful, no? Like that shit.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Black hardware, because that's also like on that St. Vincent model, it was that combination, and I just, you know, it just pops up when you go online and you go to check out St. Vincent models, just the one of the two, I think. And then I thought, okay, I'll just ask the guys if it would be possible, and they were like, yeah, sure. Okay.
I was like, yes. Place the order. But it's nice. But like, do you feel like there's a big difference between, because obviously your JP7 has like this scoop here, right? Does it feel there's a lot more wood on the your custom JP15? Or does it not bother you at all?
I prefer this one, but actually more of because of aesthetic reasons. I think the cutout on the JP7 is pretty drastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool. It's that guitar, but
Mm.
I really like. I mean, I don't need it because I don't play the guitar as John Petrucci does. So I mean, he has the guitar very high up. I have it like,
Low.
I mean, I play guitar really low, but now I'm kind of like in the middle somewhere. I mean, at least for 7 strings and progressive music, you don't have to be that rock and roll dude that goes, with the low slung
like Slash kind of.
Yeah, that's different music and a different thing, but not for this guitar. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's a part that's different here. It's more wood, but then again, I think what makes a bigger difference is that baked maple. It's really like if you ever tried one, it's like you feel how solid the wood is, like, because it's really like that the process it goes through. It feels super strong, like rock solid. It almost feels like an Aristides or something, like where it's like so. It doesn't really like. I mean, of course, you cannot move it with your hand like that, but it doesn't. It's just a feeling you get, and it's really cool. And it's. I mean, it's super awesome for touring, of course. Really stable. But apart from that, the electronics are stock. Like you have your piezo, you have your 3-way toggle here, you have
the tone and the piezo volume,
and
the boost.
The boost and the split.
Yeah.
That's actually the one thing that I realized, or I'm still like kind of realizing, that since I'm a bit of a not the most precise player, like I do the big movement thing, and I like to get like groovy or funky or whatever. So like the big movements here, the toggle is probably not in the perfect position for me. I mean, it's perfect if you're like a
shredder.
If you're like that, if you need to, if you have a really precise right hand, I didn't really think about it, and now that I have this one and I compared it to again like my Nuno, and then or even the music when I think I took this one last time. The
is it the EV?
The 90s Van Halen thing. It's here, and it basically you have. Nothing's in the way here, and that's one thing that I realized that I really like. And
it's the same on your Nuno as well, right? The switch is there.
I really love it because I naturally, when I play, and I use the toggle a lot, like in solos, maybe you do a run, you want it to be percussive, or you want it to be like really nasty, and you use the bridge humbucker, and then you land somewhere here and you wanted to sing a bit more, and then you go like, and it's still close, but it doesn't get in my way but that's just because I'm, I just do this all the time. So it's,
Yeah, I think it all comes down to how one plays, and there's no right or wrong, and
right.
It's just a matter of preference,
Right, and after all, this is a guitar spec to an artist, like this. John Petrucci, he used to. I mean, I don't think he plays the JPs much these days, right?
I don't think he even plays them at all.
Right?
I mean, I watched a show. He was like playing the Majesty the whole time, I think. Yeah. So I think this is just kept there because there's still a huge demand for JPs. Because the Majesties, I think first of all, not everyone likes the shape. It took a bit of time before I could accept the shape of the Majesty, but only also because I'm a Petrucci fan, So, but if you're someone who's not a fan of Petrucci, then it might be a bit tough to accept that shape because it's it's very extreme in the sense that it's not like this one is still kind of safe, that even if you're not a fan, you can still use it. But Majesty, most of the people who use the Majesty, I would think they are at least one way or another a fan of Petrucci.
Yeah, probably,
yeah.
It's the thing that happened, like when I first saw it, I still don't like the ones that have that shield.
Yeah,
that's not my thing.
Yeah.
But since they came out with the plain ones, the looking ones, I really thought it's a grower, right? The more you look at it, you're going like, it's really cool actually. And then a cool thing happened. Like the thing that happened to me was when I had one, and then I had like pictures taken, or I just got a picture of me wearing it, like playing it. Then I realized, wow, it really looks really cool actually.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, like from the perspective you look at it, because of all the curves and the shaping of the body, sometimes it really looks different, and it really looks dynamic and really elegant.
It's very sleek, the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean,
where's your Majesty? Yeah, bring it. Like, let's not show.
And it's light as well.
Oh, it's blue. Yours.
It's that kinetic where wait, maybe it's working.
Oh, I see. It's like purple, blue-ish. Yeah. Oh, nice.
And let me put this one.
Don't drop them.
No. Yeah. It's with all the Floyd roses, they get in the way. Fake. Okay. There you go. By the way, have you heard of the Quantum Industries guitar cases?
No. Why?
Really? Yeah. Wait. Can I turn the camera now?
Yeah, you can. I think there's like one button you can hit to change it to front cam. I've got no idea where it is because like I'm on like the desktop.
All right. Wait. Let me be here. No. Okay. Let's see. What's that? Oh, I took a screenshot. Cool. Oh, here. Okay. So now, working. So let me just.
Oh, nice.
How cool they are, because it's a new thing, and it's a really cool guy. He's they're based in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
And I met him at NAMM because he was really like he was just walking like through NAMM with the case in hand, and I was like, excuse me, it looks really cool, and he was like, yeah, sure, take a look, and I started working with them, and I really want to say that this is a really cool product because I think it's thought out really well. So you get your you can take those out if you want, so it really fits bases. And it's really like it's solid, and they use really high quality material, like these lugs, and then the wheels are cool, and it's a triple case, which I need, and especially for Eluveitie, and I mean, it also nice. It looks really cool, and another cool thing is like the how do you go actually?
The slots, or are you?
Yeah, or wait, let me show you the. The part that closes it. Like, what's the word in English? I don't know.
The lid.
Yeah, the lid, right?
Yeah.
The lid is really solid, and it also has like those carved out like
okay
parts. So it's really cool, and they're they're really.
What did you say it was like? Quantum
Industries, it's really cool.
Oh, it's nice, like because they're in Hong Kong, that means they're like actually close to Malaysia, so it's actually convenient for me. Quantum Industries, I have to check them out. So
there's a little bit of advertising for Quantum
Quantum
Industries.
Industries.
Yeah, but I do believe that it's great guys and great stuff. I can't actually wait to road test it, but yeah, have to wait a little bit more for that. But okay, let me
road
try
test and airline test.
Yeah. But back again to the
Majesty.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like,
Wow.
it's now. So if you look at it now,
Purple.
like that top part almost disappears because it's
Yeah.
that really cool curve, and
Contour, yeah.
it's
Wow.
super. And I mean, it's so light, like you almost throw it like in the air because it's you wouldn't think of it to be that light. And this is my drop A guitar now, and then again, you told me about the Tremmory now, so
yeah, it could be your standard and drop A.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, with those,
The switch, the new switch.
yeah, it's really small, so it's less in the way, and actually, it doesn't, like, you don't accidentally
Did it? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you just did.
I did, but okay, but I have to do it like this, and you pick like this.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think it's another cool thing, and you have the same,
Yeah, the functions on the.
This is stock.
Yeah, but I like that because it's also. I think there are like a few tweaks they made because it's like an electronic switch, which there's no. I mean, for me, I don't actually notice a lot of delay here. I mean, there is, there is, but then that one pretty much, that switch there just cuts that delay when you switch from the bridge to the neck to almost zero. And then what I like more is the push because the push actually makes a lot of sense because push pull. I mean, for the studio it's fine, but when you actually play live, a push pull is actually a bit inconvenient to play around with. But yeah, that Majesty looks beautiful actually. Yeah, I absolutely hated it when it came out, but then now I'm starting to see how beautiful that guitar is. And it's quite small. Like, I mean, when you look at the pictures, you think it's like this massive piece of thing, but when you see it in real life, it's like, oh, I didn't know. Like, it's quite tiny actually.
It is really, it's really small. Like,
yeah.
And this is a 7-string. I do think that a 7-string looks actually better than a 6-string because it's a bit more, body
bigger.
And bigger. And it as well, like, of course it does. It's a Music Man guitar, but it really rings like beautifully and has that bright tone.
How different do you feel it is from your JPs?
For me, like, I do think it's a bit more. Maybe it's the thing you were talking about before. I think the JP sounds a bit more heavy. It has a bit more like a
body.
Maybe because this one has body, but it's really like it's super responsive, bright, and really like sparkly, if you will.
Okay.
But then again, I think it only makes sense because it's like the guitar feels. It sounds like as it feels, and if you take the JP, it's a bit more like of a, bit more weight to the guitar as well.
Yeah.
But still, actually, it's not like there's still a weight to the sound it has. That's the cool thing. It's not thin sounding. It's still sparkly.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think you made a very good point there actually, like the guitar sounds like how it looks actually, and it's rare. Sometimes you get like a guitar that has this shape, you think it sounds like that. When you pick it up, it doesn't sound anything like how it looks. But I think JP's, and also obviously the Majesty. I think the shape, for some odd reason, I think the looks, the shape, and everything, like kind of reflects how the guitar actually sounds. If you agree to that, like even with the Majesty, I think that light sounding, kind of vibe, that guitar, because that when you look at the guitar, you think about speed, you think about lightness, zero resistance sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Right.
And I think Petrucci and Music Man kind of did a good job in terms of designing how it looks and also how it sounds. It's it's amazing,
true.
amazing guitars.
And I mean, it's still heavy. It's definitely a heavy guitar because Petrucci, he's not a light player. I mean, the way he sounds, the way he plays, he's pretty heavy hitter, and I think a lot of it is also, it's the whole chain of elements to his sound. Like the Buki he has, it's like a really rich sounding amp. It's not a thin sounding amp.
Yeah.
So I think the combination of it is like perfect, because it can't be too much. Like mahogany Les Pauls, they have so much like body and like that dark sound it has, and I think with the Petrucci sound, you have the balance, you have the richness, and you have body, but you also have sparkle, and you have the it can be like, especially his clean tones, we all know them, and they've become legendary, that those the Dream Theater
with chorus and
Another Day intro sound, and it changed over the years a bit, but still like that you can get that,
you still know it's him,
yeah. And I really like, I think that's, and to come back to the whole Music Man fascination thing, it's another thing that's so cool about the brand, is that just to keep up with them and like be curious about what they come up with next, because it's always interesting and it's always exciting.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen the Sabres they put out?
Oh, I saw them. In fact, I saw a custom model as well, Sabres. But I'm not too much of a fan though. Like, I think it's too round. The horns are a bit too round for my liking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's still cool looking though.
When I saw them at NAMM, I wasn't too interested. I was like, I'm not sure. And then I started like checking some reviews and some videos on YouTube, and it started it's again the same thing. They started growing, and they did a cool like introduction series where a lot of like different players play the Sabre.
Mm-hmm.
They had like Butch Walker and people that, maybe they just, they tricked me with like really cool, like but I think it's another one of those growers that I think you could play them, you'll be like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Too good.
Yeah, I know.
Great session guitar, it's like one of those all-round guitars that can cover a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's important for a guitar, actually, especially for a session player. I think that's even more important for a guitar to cover tons of ground.
Then again, you like a guitar to have character. If it can do a lot, but then again, it's cool to have a guitar that's got the
unique factor.
Yeah. Without, I don't know, do you like the Mariposa and the St. Vincent models they have, because it's really different? Like,
the St. Vincent is the one that's like an Explorer, right?
Kind of, yeah.
It's like but it's like the other way. When they came out with that, I was like, I absolutely hated it again. And then over time, I don't know, that's the thing with Music Man though, like they always come out with guitars that I absolutely hate, and then after maybe after a few months, like, actually maybe it's not that bad, and then after a few more months I'm like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, they pull that off every time. Like they're so able to do that. Weird.
I know. It's like, they come up with these odd things that I mean, they are very unique, but they take so long to grow. Like you said, they are like growers, you know, and yeah, you don't like them straight away, but when you like them, like you really, really like them.
Yeah, you like them to death, but
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Even the Jason Richardson, you know, like at
yeah,
first I was like, yeah, Cutlass is a bit round, and like now I'm like craving for one. It's like,
yeah. You know what I think is really interesting with the Music Man stuff. As soon as you see them, like on the player, it's a different thing. Then when you see the instrument like being played, and or maybe someone's like has it like strap on, and it's like, oh, okay, now I see what now it has like this really cool. Yeah, I mean, it was the same for me with the Majesty. It was like,
yeah,
oh, okay. I mean, the JP is just straight away. It's just super elegant, and it's
yeah,
like. But then again, like the JP7, the one you have, is still. It's kind of like it's special with the cutout here, and it's not.
yeah.
A lot of people go like, "Oh, this cutout is crazy, or it's weird, or I don't like it." But
I think it's unique. Like it's really part of the guitar, and I don't know. Maybe it's because like I'm a small guy. Like you can see how big this guitar is on me. Like but yeah, like I find it useful to a weird point where I find it useful even when I'm standing up, because I kind of hold the guitar like mid height. I don't hold it too low because I have like short fingers.
yeah,
But I don't hold it like dorky high either. So I'm like midway down, and it does make a difference. And it's like one of the reasons why I'm contemplating if I should get like, you know, the BFR or not, because that one doesn't have this cutout, even though it's like a JP7
yeah,
BFR, but it doesn't have the cutout. And my concern is like, you know, whether it will feel the same or not, because now with that, my hand kind of has to, you know, come up a bit more, and then this
yeah.
one I can kind of relax a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, because this feels like perfect. Like, you know, it feels right. Everything about it feels good. The neck, because it's a stealth black, you know, it's a satin finish back as well, so it's very smooth. Yeah, so you know, I do have some kind of concerns with the BFR, but then again, it's the BFR. It's so beautiful.
Problem.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
first world problems, you know. It's like
Absolutely, but I get your point, and maybe you'll keep coming back to the JP7. It's possible because you're so used to it, and it works so perfect for you. Then maybe just stick with that one because it's just your guitar, and it's like your.
yeah, maybe I will. It's quite likely it will quite likely be the case though that I will stick with this one, because obviously that one is so damn expensive. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, not that this one was cheap, but then that one is just even
Yeah.
more expensive. Yeah.
But rightfully so, right? Because it's a really high level product, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very true. With Music Mans, you know what you're getting every single time, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
with it, well, like when I showed it to my friend who works at this really prestigious guitar store in Zurich, and he's he became a very good friend, and I always like give him my guitars if they need like any repairs, whatever. And he looked at Majesty, he picked it up, he played it for 10 seconds, he was like, holy shit, okay, this is something, and that's the kinds of guitars they do. It's what
yeah,
Pickman is all about.
yeah, they are.
Same with the EVH I got when I got it from the guy that sold, like he had two and he sold one, and I picked it up, and that guitar I used it on the Illumishade album with the Friedman and the B100 Deluxe, and it's like it screamed straight away. Like the sound was, what else do you need? And I ended up like tracking a lot of solos with that one. It's so, yeah, it's just awesome guitars.
Yeah, they are. Well, I'm glad we did this episode though. I mean, because like, you know, the whole purpose of this was like, you know, to really, you know, show some Music Man love.
Yeah. That's
yeah, it's
super cool. Like, thanks for bringing up the idea. It was really cool too. Let me bring the JP15 back in the picture for the finale, right?
all right. Let's do that.
Right. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like-
that was fun.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of fun talking to you, and
Likewise, I'm happy to you know to talk to you again. It kind of sucked to end the last time, and then after that it sucked even more when I just remembered, oh shit, we didn't cover, you know, your JP15, and then but it's good. I mean, we got to do an extra one. I mean, thankfully you have the time and you're willing to do it. But I'm happy that, you know, we can do one that's like, you know, more dedicated to Music Man, because you're like,
so that's
the Music Man episode. It's because it's really the best guitar ever. Like,
yeah, they are really the best guitars.
damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
we love them, and that's
Yeah, that's all. We stand by it, you know.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's still like a dream come true to be able to work with the guys, and yeah, like for them to like really being awesome guys. It's super cool, and you know, it's also cool that it's always been, and it always will be like that Ernie Wall Music Man thing. So you get that really cool combination.
Yeah, that's true.
That one brand, that's two brands, but still you get that thing, and that's really cool. Yeah, there you have it.
Yeah,
That's it.
so yeah, love, like, oh, I really love like the finish on your guitar. It's crazy.
Yeah, I almost like got like the St. Vincent just because of the finish, and then ask them. Yeah, and you know, when can you hear it?
Yeah.
Need some
Oiling or something. Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So let me know if you buy the BFR, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. And like, yeah, do check out Tremmory. Like, it makes so much difference. Like, it makes these like super weapons into like ultra super weapons. Yeah, adventures kind of level, you know. Yeah. So yeah, do check it out.
Last Infinity Stone is like the Tremmory.
Exactly. Exactly. And then it's complete, you know, you got like
Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jonas, for spending time today. It was like, yeah, like the previous episode, it was a lot of fun to talk.
How many sidetracks? Like, did we keep count? Like, last time was a lot, but this time maybe even more, right?
In terms of sidetracking, in terms of I lost count actually. Like we went from, like, you know, Music Man to what was it? To Ategnatos, and then we went from Majesty to your Quantum Industries case.
Please check it out.
Yeah. We sidetracked a lot. Yeah, but still, I'm glad that most of our time we spent talking about, you know, how great these guitars are, and
True.
Yeah, they do deserve all that love. Actually, it's like amazing guitars. Like, yeah. All right. Well, so we'll keep in touch. I'll let you know when this will be out, and then we'll stay in touch then.
All right.
Take care. All right. Bye.
Bye.